Hey guys, welcome to The Community, the podcast devoted to home service businesses who desire to make an impact while making an income. Each week, you will hear real stories of people that decided to do it their way and start a business and get on a journey that is a fun one.
Today, I've got a very special guest. He is the founder of ResponsiBid. And so if you're ever curious about how to automate more of your sales and marketing, we're going to learn everything we can to find out how their product serves your business. And so we're going to jump into sales. We're going to jump into automation and the service that his company provides. And so I'm going to bring Curt into the show at this time. Curt, greetings.
Hey, how are you?
Doing good. We've had kind of a fun morning trying to get you inside the show or on stage today, but I'm thankful for your patience.
Oh, absolutely. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Hey, the first question I always ask is a very difficult question, and it is, who is Curt Kempton?
Oh, yeah, that would be a tough one to answer. Man, there's so many facets. I'm a husband. I'm a father. I'm a business owner. I'm a follower of Christ. I'm just passionate about the fact that I have a calling here on earth, and I want to make my mark. I want to do the things that make me the best version of who I can possibly be. So I got 4 kids and a wife. I've been married for 24 years now. And yeah, just doing my best to serve God and serve my fellow man.
Yeah. And thank you for sharing that. In preparation for our time today, I ended up watching you on one of my friends' podcast, and I found out that you have a daughter that is she 22 now? And she was 21 when the show aired.
Oh, she's 21 still. Yeah, she's still 21.
Okay. So the podcast said it was a year ago. And so I have a daughter as well that's about to graduate college. And I have 6 kids, and my 21-year-old, who's soon to be 22 in March, will be getting married in May. So is your daughter getting married? That's what I want to know as soon as she graduates.
No, she is not. We had a close call. But no, she's not.
That's awesome. Hey, so we're going to get into a little bit of what ResponsiBid does and what you're into now. But before we get into there, a lot of times we look back on our lives and we see some high moments and some low moments. And generally for every 15 years you're on this planet, you're going to have some super low lows and some super high highs. Can you look back over the past, 40-ish years, I'm guessing?
Yeah.
And maybe share a couple of challenges that you faced and how you overcome them, because in reality, growing a business or going through life, it does have some challenges. And so we want to maybe pinpoint a couple that you have faced over your career, your time, or your life.
Yeah. Honestly, I would say there's just been, building a business is full of like stumble moments, when you're just this recently, we rolled out the biggest update we ever have to ResponsiBid. It was actually a week ago yesterday. And in preparation for that, we had to update and migrate all the databases, and we had some hiccups with that, and that was super stressful. After the update did roll out, it was a 6-hour downtime. Just think about, it's just a long time to, migrate everything. But it was so like, we've had a few bugs that have come out, and it's just, people's livelihoods run on our software. So, we've definitely had our share of hiccups. And I think along the way, there's just been a lot of different things that have definitely felt painful. You get things wrong sometimes. I think back to my cleaning business. We were hiring as fast as we could, and we didn't always hire the right people, and that would result in guys getting into fist fights on the job site, or people needing advances every week, and you have these awkward conversations. I mean, gosh, like owning a business just really opens you up to a lot of this pain and suffering. I think it's critical to I think it's critical to your growth, but maybe just as importantly, it's critical to you being able to see what you are, you know? And sometimes it's not fun to see what you are. Sometimes it really isn't as maybe it's more underwhelming, I should say, than you wish it was. But you know, I had a conversation with my dad. It was early on in my business and things were just really bad. And I had a calling at my church to serve all the young men. And I was really busy, and I wasn't that great of a young men's leader. I didn't communicate as well as I should have with the parents. And anyway, I had done something that didn't communicate well with a parent about a camp out we were taking the boys on. And it was a Boy Scout. I was a Boy Scout leader. And we're getting ready to go on a camp out, and I'd already had a really rough week. I don't know which of the pain and suffering I just shared with you it was, but it was pretty bad. I mean, this is maybe 10 years ago, but this mother came and pulled me aside, and she said, I want to talk to you. And I said, okay. And she said, I have never, ever experienced someone who is so bad at doing this. Like she just gave it to me. And, you know, I didn't want to be there at that time. I wanted to be home with my family. I haven't seen my wife. I just remember at the time thinking, you know, there's a million things I could be doing right now. And I didn't ask for this. I'm just doing it because I'm trying to help, but I'm not doing a good job. I'm failing as a husband. I'm failing as a father. I'm failing as a scout leader. I'm failing as a servant of God. My business is just kicking my butt right now. And I went to my dad and I just told him how I was feeling, and probably shed a few tears. And he just said, you know, Kurt, how's your health? And I said, well, that's the one thing. And he said, well, that's good. How's your family's health? I said, well, everybody's pretty healthy right now. And he said, well, how's money? I said, well, money's not great. Money is super duper tight. It's not good. He said, how's your marriage? So my marriage is going okay, except for I'm not doing a great job at it, but my wife loves me. And I said, okay, how's your relationship with God? And I said, honestly, I don't know how happy he is with me right now. I'm trying, Dad, I'm trying. And he said, well, I know people who have health problems. I know people who have spirituality problems. I know people who spend their time in the hospital or have to buy expensive drugs that aren't accessible, or that someone's dying. I know people who have marriage problems. He said, gosh, if you have to pick any of those problems, the money problems are the best kind of problems to have. And that was a really critical thing to hear. It really did change me to be able to hear and learn that, you know?
We should talk about your dad today. It sounds like the Lord gave you a superhuman as a father.
Yeah. He definitely, he loves God and he loves his neighbor, and you know, everything else is kind of just part of that, but you're right. He is.
Hey, I'm going to interrupt for a second because we've got a phenomenal opportunity for you. If you've been thinking about opening your own pressure washing company, I'd like to invite you to a free webinar. There we'll talk about the pros and cons of opening a pressure washing, and you'll get to chat with our team about whether or not you should launch a pressure washing company in your city or not. To register for this free event, go to pressurewashingpastor.com, scroll down to the little registration button, it's blue, and click on it, and we'll take care of the rest. I look forward to seeing you there. Have a great day. Now back to our show. Hey, thank you for sharing that story. And what a critical moment have you heard of The Gap and the Gain, Dan Sullivan, Benjamin Hardy book?
Yeah, I have. Yeah. I haven't read it, but I was actually talking to someone about that just shortly, recently.
Yeah, it basically talks about your frontal cortex and your amygdala, and based on what you're thinking about will determine if you go into a reptilian brain or if you go into a higher level brain. And so based on how we perceive whatever information that's in front of us will ultimately determine what we do with that information. And we've all seen a reptile, and usually they strike when, when they're aggressive or messed with, or they end up running away in fear. And what your dad did for you is to give you a moment to remove the fear and move to a place of just faith and thankfulness. And so it's just a beautiful reflection. And so thank you for sharing that. So let's go to ResponsiBid real quick. You said that I'm sure there was some money that was behind this new update. Do you know the number there?
I couldn't give you a specific number. We've been working on this for a couple of years. The update we just rolled out has been being worked on for a couple of years. So, at least $1 million, right?
Yeah. So for our audience or viewers, a lot of money. And then how much, you said 2 years, and then how many companies were dependent upon this update working properly? How many companies are currently using ResponsiBid?
We're right there around that 1,000 mark. So, okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So how are you doing getting through the software updates, getting the bugs worked out? Where are you currently in this moment with your mind space?
Right now, I lay in bed. I'm exhausted at the end of the day because we're just, really trying to love on our customers. And people have brought up bugs that are like, oh, that one's easy to work around. It's not a big deal. But then there's other ones that you're like, I can see how that would really bug you. That would be a real problem. So I have a rumination problem, and I'll ruminate. And, obviously it's all personal. There's people who can say, it's just business, but I don't know how to do that. And I think that if I had that ability, maybe I would be able to separate a little bit more. But I feel like I've always felt that my business is a megaphone. It's an ability for me to be able to reach out to the world bigger of who I am. So my employees, my software, my support, like whatever we do, it's basically just a way for me to reach out into the world and magnify who I actually am. So, some people would probably say it's a bad quality, because people who can say it's just business, you're talking earlier about Dalkey and Kaplan, I think, from AMP. I think they still have good hearts and everything, but I do think that they have the ability and have proven that it works really well to be able to say, hey, it's a business deal. It's a business deal. And to me, I just don't see it that way, and to my chagrin, and also sometimes to like some of the best feelings in the world, because you're doing something really good. So yeah, I got mental issues I got to get through.
The question is like, is there a right or is there a wrong between, Dalkey or Kaplan, and then the way we process things? And I question sometimes if it has something to do with our childhood or our past on how we try to make things right today with the way people feel about, our product or ourselves. And so I wonder if they have worked through more issues than we've worked through as it relates to, trying to make people happy. And they're like, yes, you nailed their perspective on top of the head. All right. So I am one of those individuals. I asked Bobby Walker about 2 years ago. I said at the huge convention, and I said, hey, what's the one product that you would, without a doubt, that's the no-brainer to purchase from the huge convention? He said, well, full disclosure, I'm, affiliated and connected to it. So I know what I'm about to say might sound self-serving, but ResponsiBid. I grabbed ResponsiBid. I read through the pamphlet and I said, just not for us. But I don't even know who ResponsiBid is for. So would you help me understand what problem your company solves inside of the home service market?
Yeah. So if you go on any Facebook group, you'll see that one of the biggest struggles people have is knowing how much to charge and how to price something, how to put it together, how to propose it. And ResponsiBid at its core is the ability for you to be able to tell your customers the value you provide in a way that gets you the most likely way to get to a yes with a customer. So we do that in a couple different ways. The first off is you can price your services in ResponsiBid so that they're all profitable. It's off of factor-based quoting. So how many square feet, how many measurement, how many linear feet, how many windows, how many, whatever it is that you need to know the specifications of, all the factors of a job, it will allow you to price them. And then it takes that and it allows you to package and bundle your services together to get the most value proposed to your customer. So, for example, you do pressure washing. What kinds of services do you offer in the pressure washing world?
Gutter cleaning, roof cleaning, soft wash houses, concrete cleaning, ceiling, Christmas lights, those basic services, everything except for window cleaning.
Okay. Okay. So you're actually our target market. So you do the things that most of our customers do. So the way you would be able to deal with this is you would say someone calls you out for house washing. Maybe they call you over the phone and you want to go out there and take a look at it. Maybe they don't want to wait for you to come out and you want to try and do it over the phone. But what you got to do ultimately is you got to figure out, how big is this house? How much square footage do I need to take care of? How steep is the roof? How big is the roof? And you need to convert all of that information into specifications that can be priced. So when someone calls you out for a house wash, more than likely they need more than just a house wash. So ResponsiBid makes it really easy for you to collect all the information so that you can say, all right, Mrs. Jones, you called me out for a house wash. Here is, I just entered in this information. You have a detached garage. You have, whatever, 2,000, 2,500 square foot home. And we offer a house wash for $450.
$1,000.
Okay. $1,000.
Just kidding.
So, but the funny thing is that we always lead with price and we sell it like a commodity like that. So it's an ultimatum. You want your house washed? It's gonna be $1,000. You want your house washed? It's gonna be $450, whatever it is. And the customer is in this position where they need to say yes or no. And it's kind of tough for a customer when they just saw a sign for a $99 house wash and you're charging more than that. And so it's hard for them to say yes. So what ResponsiBid does is it sorts of helps reset their brain. So I've got this bundled package for you, Mrs. Jones. While we're out washing your house, I noticed your roof has some black stuff on it. I just pumped this into the thing as well. And we can clean your whole roof. We can whiten your gutters, all these black streaks you see. We can wash your house, do the driveway, do the walkway. All this stuff just automatically kind of comes in and automatically proposes this bundle that's going to be expensive, but it's going to provide the most value for the customers in terms of what they get. So they saw a sign for $99 house wash. You proposed to them a total makeover for $1,800. So they're not going to say yes to that, possibly. Now, there are a certain type of person out there that will, as you know, that just wants the best. And they're like, oh, cool, I found someone who's legit, and this is the real deal. But price anchoring, the way it works is that it takes that customer and anchors them to a price. They're previously anchored to $99. Now you're anchoring them to a much higher number. But if you want to do the package that maybe leaves out the flat work and just really does the curb appeal package for your gutters, your roof, and your house, maybe that's $1,200 or $1,500 or something. And then we can do this last and final package, which is just, you really do need to do your roof. I really would hate for you to have to buy a whole new roof, but we could do the house wash you asked for and the roof cleaning all at the same time, and it'll be this much. If you have to go none of that, you can buy anything a la carte you want, but in each of those packages, ResponsiBid automatically discounts and bundles and really shows you a package or an offering that resets the brain, that puts value over price. It's not like leading with a price. Like we'll do this and we'll charge you that much. Most people who get into the cleaning industry, they're not super great at sales, but if you have a great sales system, it makes it really easy because it's not like you're pushing anything. You're educating, you're showing the prices. You'll be shocked at what a customer will do, because a lot of us don't come from the mindset of spending that kind of money to keep our investment of our home that nice. A lot of cleaners come from a place where they feel like, these are rich people. So there's a lot of reset that needs to be done for us as well as entrepreneurs. But ResponsiBid, once it's put that all together, it also automates all the follow-up. It automates all of the text messaging, email. It connects to your CRM where your invoicing and stuff takes place. So if you use House Call Pro or Jobber, Customer Factor or Market, one of these CRMs, once these selections are made in ResponsiBid, it automatically reads the calendar. It figures out the most optimal drive times so you can offer the customer scheduling. They schedule themselves, and then automatically they're booked. So the nice thing is that once they're booked, you got a work order in your CRM, the sales process will go on. And when the job is over and complete in the CRM, ResponsiBid will do whatever you want to do next. Do you want to sell them another job in 6 months or a year? How do you want that to go? And ResponsiBid just really focuses on making that sales process super streamlined and efficient.
When I first started my own pressure washing business, I did not know what soft washing was, nor did I know marketing, sales, or even how to manage my finances.
Take the guesswork out of it. We have taken all of the knowledge we've gotten and wrapped it into video courses. It's a 7-figure blueprint for a pressure washing company that you can get at pressurewashingpastor.com. Go there, scroll down to video courses, and purchase it. We guarantee you'll get the value or your money back.
So go ahead and click pause, head over to the website. Now, unclick pause and back to your show. Dude, I've got 3 or 4 questions I need to ask you. And I know we only have another 10 or 15 minutes before I'm going to let you go. And so I'm going to make an early ask that maybe we have you again back on in the fall, maybe in about 4 or 5 months. Does your wife ever join the show with you?
She would. Yeah. She never had, no one's ever asked her to.
And I think it's a fail. I was chatting with Sid Graft and some of the other guys, and I was like, would your wives ever come on this? Because I feel like we need to do couples and talk about the story from the perspective of the spouse. And it gets missed. The sacrifice, the struggle, the work, and many of them are our integrators. And so I'd love to hear the story from their perspective. And so I'd like to do a fall series with some folks that are kingdom minded and their spouses are also willing to maybe share a little bit from their side. And I'll make sure I honor her. So question for you, a huge problem. And I know this is not the primary conversation I need to have with you, but one of the problems you solve is you said that customers can schedule themselves on your schedule through your CRM. Of those that are currently using that software add-on or, the switch, how many of those companies love it versus there's problems with it? I need to I'm just curious about it.
Well, customer self-scheduling ResponsiBid is a lot different than most self-scheduling. So there's CRMs out there that offer customer self-scheduling features, but the problem is they don't take into account any drive time or any crews or how long the job would actually take in reality. And if you're doing some things, that's probably okay. But for cleaning, a job could take all day. It could take 30 minutes. It could take, 5 hours. ResponsiBid can figure all that stuff out. So if you're using customer self-scheduling in ResponsiBid, I would say about half of our customers use it, but it's pretty much a no-brainer because it doesn't let the customer schedule. It'll initiate a phone call if it can't find a no-brainer spot. So for example, if this job will take my day over 70% full, then it's not even going to let the customer schedule. If it's going to require more drive time than what you've defined as your optimal drive time, then it won't even allow the customer to schedule. So it takes into account capacity and distance relating to all your other jobs. So customer self-scheduling it's one of those things where it's if a customer did schedule themselves and you do actually turn that feature on, it's going to be the stuff that you would pick anyway. But if you don't use it, then obviously you have the right to, guard your calendar. But ResponsiBid does a good job of guarding your calendar for you. That's one of the most sensitive pieces.
If you had a company that was a pressure washing company with my services, would you use that product exclusively for scheduling? 100%. So whoever's scheduling now, you would give them that responsibility, no more. And now they're going to be able to not even worry about that anymore.
Oh, well, that would be a stretch. So customers should be able to schedule themselves when the job is small and obvious and easy. But, the 80-20 rule is that sure, 80% of the time that's going to work fine. But about 20% or maybe even less of the time, you're going to need a human who can get in there. And CrewCal will help those people. The CrewCal is the feature inside of ResponsiBid. CrewCal will help the administrator in a much more sophisticated way that is a lot less like hungry, maybe. Like when the customer's scheduling themselves, it's looking for like just the best. But as an admin, you can see on the range, like it is an opening and it's not optimal. The guys will have to work a little overtime, but that's okay. Or it'll say this isn't your optimal drive time, but it gets them in before the weekend that they want to get it done. So yeah, it's definitely, I would not get rid of someone in the office. That's for sure.
Question for you. Does this work even if you have card on file and have a percentage of it, the job paid ahead of time? So if they put in a deposit, get a card on file, would it integrate with that?
Not yet. We're still working on payments. Actually, the big update we just rolled out is sort of the platform that payments will be on top of.
Yeah. And so that would be definitely something I'd be interested in. We just switched over to 90% cards on file. And for us, it locks customers in from going off and finding somebody else to get in a day earlier, 2 days earlier, or $50 cheaper. And so what I heard you say is that's a soft that is being updated and working on. Maybe it's in beta right now.
Yeah, it's not in beta yet. We're really, really focused right now on just getting the platform updated to handle all the new technology. That is one of the most important technologies we're going to set on top of it. There are workarounds people use right now. We have a PayPal integration for people to do stuff they want. It's not like your CRM. So a lot of people wouldn't want to use that, but there's also, you can install forms inside of it to collect credit card information. It's not our exact software, but it's embeddable into our software. You can use our follow-up as soon as they do schedule. You can use our follow-up to send them a payment link into your CRM. Yeah.
Win percentage, when companies transition from doing it all in-house versus taking over, have you ever studied the analytics, like after a year of having ResponsiBid, what is generally average ticket price comparison, and then also win percentage after a year of you using on average for ResponsiBid?
Yeah. So because we don't go super deep into other people's data in their CRM, and we're kind of built differently than a CRM, so we couldn't even properly house all the data. We have to go a little bit off of anecdotal stuff, but I can tell you this, is that when people come on and they start using it, the worse of a salesperson you are, the better, because ResponsiBid will increase your average ticket price better off of a system than someone who is going out and just giving prices and trying to get a job and see if it happens. The close rate. So what we have found is that there's people who are like, oh my gosh, since using ResponsiBid, I've quadrupled my average ticket. Probably more commonly is people who are seeing about 75 to 100% lift, doubling their average ticket. That we see that quite regularly. The other cool thing is it increases your close rate. So most people don't follow up with any bids once they've given them, or if they do, they only follow up once or twice. ResponsiBid will allow you to follow up with them, however appropriately you want. You can have infinite numbers of follow-ups. So, we find that most people will follow up for about 6 months, and that follow-up does amazing things for your close rate. And the other thing that happens is that people will go out, and if you're a great salesperson, they'll go out and spend a bunch of time putting all these quotes together, and they do a good job of selling. The problem is that there's so much math involved, and it's so not scalable that people like, for example, Caleb Winiger, he's got a great sales staff at Lake State Cleaning, but Caleb's process is so scalable. He can bring on sales reps really fast. They can just go in and put the specs in. Bundles and proposals already generated super quick. Follow-up is already done, and their salespeople can focus on sales. So depending on the life cycle you are in your business and the type of business you have, if your in-person salespeople are really awesome, you just put this tool in their hand and they get more awesome. If you're the kind of person who wants websites to be given or quotes given from your website, this is another really cool tool for people like that. But those people are in a different life cycle. Typically, they don't have the time to go out and do the sales, and they don't have a salesperson. So we have a whole gamut of people who are coming over for different reasons,
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that. You really do solve a lot of issues, especially for those that are growing and scaling their business, because one of the things you need to do is fire yourself from different things that you're good at or really bad at in order to go up. And so I feel like you're solving some of the issues. Can you help someone that might be interested in finding out more information about ResponsiBid understand the cost to add your services? What does that look like as far as cost?
So, $200 a month roughly is what it costs. You can add as many users as you need. You can do as many quotes as you want. So it's got all the features. That's basically what it is. Now we do charge a setup fee of $600. And we have a discount code that we've put together actually for you. I can give you that link afterward that you can share out, and that knocks it down to a $500 setup fee. But essentially you get your own dedicated coach who will help you set up your account and get it dialed in just the way you want. So basically what it is that you invest some money up front, and then we give you a 10-to-1 ROI guarantee. So if you're not earning 10 times the investment of what you're putting in terms of gas savings or efficiency or higher close rates or higher average ticket prices, which is pretty easy when it's $200 a month. Like if I can't get you $2,000 extra per month in the form of savings or extra sales, Response is not even set up right. So the way we overcome that is we just give you your own dedicated your own dedicated success coach who will help you download your brain into the software. We have a 6 steps process they take you through that'll get the software all dialed into what you want and what you need. And then you can, from there, you just reap the success, and that 10-to-1 ROI guarantee goes for the life of the account as well.
Yeah, just for full disclosure, anybody that's watching this or viewing, I would highly recommend considering using ResponsiBid. One of the things that we just dialed in for our company is the follow-up game. And so we don't have a ton of sales guys. We have like 3, but we train them very meticulously. So we don't automate. It is 100% building that relationship with that customer. And we don't want to let the salesman get off the hook of feeling connected or vice versa. We want that intimate relationship. But if you're trying to scale, replace yourself, get off the ground, I love the conversation. And I really am open to continuing this conversation, especially if we can figure out the solve for the card on file. Because when I look, before we did it, there might be $20,000 that we never collected at the end of a year. And, as a business, that's a big deal, but sometimes people don't pay. I want to thank you for taking time to listen to our content. We really are on mission to launch ministers in the marketplace. If you found the content we created today to be helpful to you, please do us a favor and like, subscribe, and share. It makes a huge difference in helping us grow. And then if you have interest in launching a pressure washing company in your city, or maybe want to find out how you can be a Browns in your city, I want you to visit pressurewashingpastor.com today. There you'll see opportunities for masterminds, coaching, and then find out how you can end up opening up a pressure washing company in your city. Until next time, peace.